My name is Alex, I'm 14, and I used to think hard work was all it took to earn your place on the team. But that belief shattered the day I watched my coach hand my starting spot to the very guy who used to shove me into lockers for fun. He stood there, whistle around his neck, grinning like he owned me, and everyone knew I couldn't fight back. "Kid, you're just not cut out for this. Sit down and watch how it's done," my coach said, loud enough for the whole gym to hear. Something inside me twisted that day, not just hurt, something sharp, something angry, something waiting. I started keeping notes, who laughed, who stayed quiet, and what I'd do when it was finally my turn. How far would you go if someone stole everything you earned? Rate this story from 0 to 10 in the comments. Let's begin. The gym was never this quiet during the day. It was mine before the sun even bothered to show up, just me, the scuffed hardwood, and the soft hum of lights warming awake. My sneakers squeaked like a heartbeat, steady and sure, every dribble echoing against empty bleachers like applause no one else could hear. At 14, I didn't have much that felt permanent, but these early hours felt like a promise: work hard, and the court will keep you safe. I pulled my hood tighter, the faint smell of floor polish sharp in my nose. Mom was probably just getting home, uniform still smelling like fries and coffee. She didn't understand why I came this early, but I liked it that way. I liked being the kid no one saw, the kid who showed up when it was still dark out, when the world felt unfinished. The ball smacked against the floor, familiar, hypnotic. Left hand, right hand, cross. I imagined the team watching, the coach nodding, the crowd cheering for me. For once, I wasn't the kid with an absent dad or the boy who always had to leave practice early because mom's car broke down. I was just Alex Parker, point guard in the making. Then the door creaked. At first, I thought it was the janitor. The gym always made those hollow metal sounds, like the building sighing. But when I glanced toward the entrance, I saw him leaning against the frame, arms crossed. Tyler Finch. The guy who made a sport out of shoving kids into lockers, the one who called me bench boy last year when I missed tryouts because mom got sick. And now he was here, at my time. My place. "Cute," he said, his voice carrying in the empty gym like it didn't belong. "Practicing for the team that doesn't want you." My chest tightened, but I didn't answer. I went back to my dribble, harder this time. Ball to wood. Ball to wood. If I pretended he wasn't there, maybe he'd leave. But I could feel his eyes. Watching? Measuring. "What? Cat got your tongue? Or do you only play when no one's watching?" He stepped closer, the squeak of his sneakers breaking into my rhythm. It wasn't fear exactly, it was something worse. Embarrassment. Like he'd caught me doing something private, something fragile. "You know coach likes guys who win, right? Not guys who dream." He grinned, slow and mean. "Better enjoy your little mornings. They won't matter." Something in his voice made me miss a beat. The ball spun away, rolling across the floor until it stopped at his feet. He picked it up, spun it once on his finger, and smirked like he'd just stolen something. "Nice ball," he said. "See you at practice," and then he left, just like that. I stood in the middle of my empty gym, hands still open like I could grab something back. My heart thudded against my ribs, louder than the bounce of any ball. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to know this place, but the way he looked at me, like he already owned something I hadn't even earned yet, made me realize my mornings might not be enough anymore. He was watching me like he already knew something I didn't, and that's when I realized my spot wasn't as safe as I thought. Would you like me to continue with chapter 2, The Whistle That Broke Me, in the same cinematic, emotionally layered style? Or polish this for a ready-to-use YouTube narration script with scene cues and pacing? The gym smelled different when it was full of bodies and noise. Sweat, rubber, that faint hint of metal from the bleachers, it all pressed in on me as I sat on the edge of the court, knees bouncing like they were wired to a motor. Today was the day. The roster. The day the early mornings were supposed to mean something. I tried to keep my face blank, but my hands gave me away, clutching my water bottle so tight the plastic crackled. Around me, the other guys laughed too loud, like they weren't even worried. Tyler Finch was the loudest, spinning his ball on one finger, the same smirk from that morning curling on his lips. He hadn't shown up to half the practices. He was a joke. And yet the coach laughed at something he said, that low rumble that made my stomach twist. The whistle blew, sharp and final. It cut through the chatter, and just like that, the room belonged to Coach Simmons. His clipboard looked heavy with promise. "All right, gentlemen," he said, voice carrying like a sermon. "You've worked hard. Some of you surprised me. Some of you need to work harder." I leaned forward, almost tipping off the bench. My heart was pounding so loud I barely heard the first names. Then my chest eased, mine wasn't called yet. Good. Maybe he was saving the best for last. Tyler Finch. I froze. Coach smiled at him. Actually smiled. Outstanding athleticism, natural leadership. Starter position. The gym broke into claps, a couple whistles. Tyler jogged forward, gave a mock salute. My mouth went dry. Outstanding. He'd mocked the drills. He'd skipped conditioning. My throat burned, then names kept coming, others I expected, some I didn't. Each one felt like a nail closing a door I'd been pounding on for months. Finally, silence. I waited. "Congratulations to the new team," Coach said, lowering his clipboard. That was it. My name hadn't been called. Something in me cracked like a thin sheet of ice. I heard my voice before I could stop it. "Coach, you forgot me." Heads turned. Tyler's grin widened. Coach's eyes, calm as a locked door, found mine. "Parker," he said evenly, "you didn't make the cut." It was like being punched, but softer, slower, like the kind of pain that doesn't show right away. "But I've been." The whistle cut me off. That sound was sharper now, cruel almost, like it belonged to him and not the game. The room went still, the way animals freeze when something dangerous moves. "Sit down, Parker," he said, louder this time. "This isn't your game anymore." The words hit harder than I thought possible. Guys shifted, some smirking, some pretending not to look. My cheeks burned, but I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Tyler clapped slow, once, twice, like he was at some private joke. I sat because my legs wouldn't hold me anyway. My water bottle rolled off the bench, landing with a hollow thud. Nobody picked it up. The whistle was still in Coach's hand, swinging slightly like a pendulum, shining under the gym lights. It was such a small thing, but it felt like a wall slammed shut. Underscore. I thought about that whistle all day, the way it silenced me, and I knew this wasn't over, it was just the first cut. The apartment was quiet when I got home, except for the hum of the fridge and the distant thump of someone's TV down the hall. My sneakers squeaked against the linoleum, a sound too loud for how small I felt. The air smelled like last night's takeout, cold soy sauce and something fried, and my throat tightened because it reminded me of how late Mom got home, how she barely ate. She was at the kitchen table now, still in her scrubs, hair pulled back in a messy bun that used to be neat at 6 a.m. but never survived her shift. A half-drunk mug of coffee sat by her elbow, a smudge of lipstick on the rim. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, and for a second, I almost believed everything was fine. "Hey, champ. How'd tryouts go?" Her voice was soft, but her shoulders slumped like she was already tired of the answer. I wanted to tell her everything, the whistle, the smirk, the way Coach looked right through me. But the words felt too heavy. I leaned on the counter instead, tracing the cracked formica with my thumb. "Didn't make it," I said. Just that. 2 words, like ripping a bandage. She blinked, then smiled, small and sad. "Oh, honey. I'm sorry. Maybe he's giving someone else a chance this year, huh? Coaches see things we don't." It was supposed to make me feel better. Instead, it hollowed me out. "I worked harder than anyone, Mom." Tyler didn't even. I stopped because my voice was shaking, and I hated that. She sighed, rubbing her temples. "I know you did, Alex. But sometimes things aren't fair. You just keep practicing. Next season. Next season." Like the hours before sunrise didn't matter. Like the sting in my chest was just a paper cut. I watched her sip cold coffee, watched her eyes drift toward the stack of bills on the counter, and I realized she wasn't really here. Not the way I needed. I hated myself for thinking it, but it felt like betrayal. Something hot rose in my throat. I wanted to shout, to tell her coach was wrong, that I deserved better, that I wasn't invisible. Instead, I swallowed it. Because she looked so tired, like a balloon half deflated. And because part of me knew she couldn't fix this even if she wanted to. The rest of dinner was just clinking forks and shallow breaths. When she finally stood to change for her next shift, she kissed the top of my head like always. But it landed lighter this time, like she was already gone. I sat there after she left, staring at the fridge magnet holding my old 5th grade championship photo. My jersey was too big back then, my smile too wide. The kid in the picture believed the court belonged to him. I almost didn't recognize him. I stopped talking about basketball that night, but I didn't stop thinking about how to take it back. The first bell was still echoing through the hallway when I slid into my seat. My notebook hit the desk with a soft thud, but inside, my chest was loud. It had been a week since I'd lost my spot. A week of pretending I didn't care while every bounce of a basketball in the gym next door felt like a slap. I flipped open the notebook, not to the history notes but to the back pages, the ones nobody looked at. Lines and doodles, scattered words, arrows like tiny maps. It wasn't homework. It was surveillance. Coach's habits. Tyler's weaknesses. Who skipped drills when they thought no one was watching. I wrote it all down in tiny, cramped letters that looked like nothing if a teacher passed by. But to me, it was ammo. The classroom buzzed with normal noise, whispers, the squeak of sneakers, someone laughing too loud, but I was quiet. Watching? Mrs. Green started talking about the Civil War, and all I could think about was my own war. My pencil moved without me thinking. Tyler's name. 3 missed layups in warm-up. Late to practice Tuesday. Smirked at coach and still got praised. It stung, but it also burned cleaner this time. Not wild anger, just focus. Like sighting through a scope, a shadow crossed my desk. What are you always writing? It was Lila, the kind of kid who didn't miss much. Her braid swung as she leaned closer, trying to peek. I snapped the notebook shut, heat rushing to my face. Nothing? Just bored. She smirked like she didn't believe me but walked away. My heart thudded anyway. For a second, it felt like I'd been caught, like someone had seen the blueprint forming in my head. When the bell rang for lunch, I didn't go to the cafeteria. I sat on the bench outside the gym, pretending to tie my shoe, notebook balanced on my knee. The gym doors rattled with practice inside, shouts, sneakers, a whistle. I wrote fast. From here, I saw everything, the assistant coach checking his phone too much, the janitor propping the door open with a mop, the way players spilled water on the floor and left it. Small things. But patterns live in small things. One day soon, I'd need to know exactly where the cracks were. As I scribbled, something changed. The gym door opened, and coach's voice spilled out, sharp and close. Keep your head in the game, Tyler. You're lucky Parker's not out here today. It was casual, maybe even a joke. But it landed like a nail in my ribs. He hadn't forgotten me, just chosen to keep me invisible. I stared at the closed door long after it swung shut. My pen didn't move at first. Then I started writing harder, the letters pressing deep into the paper. If they wanted me silent, fine. But silent didn't mean blind. Underscore. It turns out the bench has the best view of everything people try to hide. The gym smelled like rubber and sweat and nerves. My fingers tapped against my knees on the bench, each thumb matching the squeak of sneakers on the court. Tyler was choking, again. 2 turnovers in a row, a lazy jog back on defense, and now we were down by 6. I could see coach's jaw tighten, his arms folded like a locked gate. Sub him, someone whispered from the stands. I heard it because I wanted to. I was starving for it. When coach finally turned, his face looked carved out of stone. Parker? The words almost didn't sound real. I peeled off my warm-up like it might disappear if I hesitated. My sneakers hit the hardwood, and the sound was louder than the crowd. For a second, I was 13 again, shooting in the driveway with mom's car headlights as my only spotlight. First possession, ball in my hands. Everything slowed, like the court belonged to me. Dribble left, crossover, spin, net. Cheers? Real, Loud cheers. My name, not his. Second play, I stole the ball from a kid who didn't see me coming. Layup? Tie game. I couldn't stop grinning. My lungs burned in the best way. By the third basket, I felt the rhythm snap into place, the one that used to feel like home. Even Tyler, scowling near half court, had to notice. The bench was up, teammates slapping my back. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't invisible. But then the whistle cut through it all, sharp and final. Parker, out? I froze. Maybe I'd misheard. We'd just taken the lead. The crowd even groaned when I jogged toward the bench. What? Why? The word slipped out before I could stop it. Coach didn't look at me. Team rotation. Rules are rules. Tyler jogged past me with that half smile, the one that says he's already won something I didn't even know we were playing for. My throat burned hotter than my lungs now. I sat down, pulse pounding, watching Tyler miss an easy jumper and still get clapped on the back by coach. The cheers had stopped. I stared at my hands, still tingling from the ball, like they'd been holding something alive that just got taken away. The rest of the game blurred. My body was there, but my mind was somewhere else, back in that half second when I thought maybe everything could shift. When I believed skill and effort were enough. When the buzzer finally screamed, the scoreboard didn't matter. We won by 3, but nobody looked at me. Tyler was laughing with the starters, coach was already talking about fixing things at practice. I kept my face blank, like none of it stung, but inside it was loud. Louder than the cheers had been. I wasn't going to cry. Not here. Not now. I pressed my notebook into my bag so hard the spiral bent. Whatever this game was, I finally understood, it wasn't just basketball. It was something else. And I was done pretending I didn't see it. If this was a game to them, they didn't realize I was done playing by their rules. The locker room always smelled like a mix of bleach and sweat, the kind that never really leaves your clothes. Tonight it was quiet, just the hum of the overhead light and the drip of a faucet someone forgot to turn off. Most of the guys had cleared out. My sneakers squeaked soft on the tile as I bent to grab my bag, telling myself I wasn't stalling. Then I heard it. Laughter, not the regular kind. This was sharp, the kind that slices. It came from Coach's office, the door cracked just enough to let the sound bleed through. I froze, one hand still gripping the strap of my bag. You see Parker out there? Tyler's voice, low, mocking, full of something that used to only come out when teachers weren't around. Coach chuckled. Kid tries hard. Maybe too hard. Thinks he's something special with those early mornings. Like the who cares what time you show up. Another burst of laughter. Two voices now, blending. Something inside me went very still. Like the air in the locker room changed temperature. My stomach knotted but my face stayed blank. I stepped closer without meaning to, my shoes quiet on the tile now, my breath held like I could make myself invisible. Yeah, Tyler said, all that extra work, and still second string. You think he even knows? Coach's laugh was softer this time, almost like pity. He'll figure it out. Some kids aren't cut out for the spotlight. That's when I felt it break. Not loud or dramatic, just a clean snap somewhere behind my ribs. I didn't move. My fingers dug into the strap of my bag so hard the nylon bit into my palm. My head was full but empty at the same time. All those mornings. All those driveway shots with numb hands, mom's headlights cutting through the dark. None of it mattered. To them, I was a punchline. I backed away like I'd touched something hot. The laughter followed me, echoing off the tile, softer now but everywhere. When I hit the hall, it was like I couldn't get air. I wanted to cry. I wanted to kick something until my foot hurt. Instead, I smiled when two freshmen passed, because that's what you do when you don't want anyone to ask what's wrong. By the time I got outside, the night was cold and wide open. I didn't go straight home. I sat on the low brick wall by the parking lot, the one with the chipped paint, and pulled out the notebook that lived in my bag. It wasn't for plays anymore. I flipped past pages of diagrams, arrows, notes about defense. The pen shook a little in my hand, but my mind didn't. Each line I wrote felt like carving something into stone. Not practice plans, something else. They didn't see me. They didn't believe in me. Good, underscore. Mine. That used to burn. Tonight, it just fueled me. Tyler swaggered onto the court, his sneakers squealing like a warning. He smirked, gave me that look, like I was still the bench kid, still invisible. I wanted to laugh. If only he knew. My phone, tucked deep in my bag on the bench, held the receipts, screenshots of skipped drills, his lazy video brag, even the attendance log showing his name crossed out. Nobody knew I had them. Not yet. Tonight wasn't about proof on a screen, it was about proof in motion. The whistle blew. Game on. At first, I played small. Passed quick, ran the patterns, didn't force. Let him think I was background noise. Tyler hogged the ball, drove hard, missed 2 easy shots. A few murmurs rippled through the stands. Coach's clipboard snapped shut a little too loud. Second quarter, it shifted. Tyler got cocky, cut a corner on defense, and his guy scored. I caught coach's jaw tighten. My moment came when Tyler tripped, literal faceplant, while trying to make a showy drive. The crowd laughed, the sound was sharp, cruel. "Parker, get in," coach barked. I didn't hesitate. The ball hit my hands and the world tunneled. Everything, every early morning, every ignored question, every time my mom worked late so I could practice, was in my legs as I sprinted down court. First shot, clean. Swish? The net hissed like approval. Next play, a steal, fast break. Tyler scowled from the bench. My heart pounded, but it wasn't fear, it was release. Each point I made wasn't loud, but it was undeniable. Kids were standing now, parents leaning forward, the announcer stumbling over my name. Third quarter, coach had no choice. He rotated me in again and again. I wasn't chasing, I was claiming. The crowd started chanting, my name, not his. In the corner of my vision, Tyler argued with coach, jabbing his finger toward me. But the numbers didn't lie. The scoreboard told a story that even the most stubborn adult couldn't rewrite. Final minute. Tie game. I got the inbound pass. My chest burned, lungs on fire, but I didn't flinch. One dribble, another, fake left, cut right. The defender slipped, and suddenly it was just me and the hoop. Release. Silence for half a second, then the net snapped, perfect, the gym erupted. Somewhere in the stands, I thought I heard my mom's voice, high and proud, cutting through everything. The whistle blew, underscore, but this time it wasn't to stop me, it was to watch me win. The gym was louder when the game ended than when it started, but not for me. For me, it was like someone hit mute. The scoreboard still glowed, but my mind kept flashing back to that final shot, the way the net hissed as if it was only speaking to me. People swarmed Tyler, but not in the way he liked. They weren't slapping his back, they were whispering, some laughing. He kept tugging at his jersey like it was choking him. Coach stared at the clipboard like it suddenly had answers he'd missed all season. I stood by the bench, sweaty, heart pounding, but calm. Too calm. My hands still buzzed like I'd swallowed electricity. I grabbed my bag. The proof was still buried in there, screenshots, attendance logs, the clip of him skipping drills. I didn't even need to show it tonight. The game had done the talking. But the anger hadn't left. It was still there, deep and hot, like a hidden pilot light. One game doesn't erase a year of being ignored, of practicing alone while the person who mocked me wore the starting jersey. I slipped out before the locker room scene could turn into something ugly. The hallway outside the gym felt colder, quieter. My sneakers squeaked on the linoleum, echoing. By the time I pushed open the doors to the parking lot, the night air hit me like a wave. My mom's car was there, headlights cutting through the mist. She leaned against the hood, her scrubs still on, hair pulled back messy, phone in her hand. When she saw me, she straightened, smiling, proud, but curious. "You were amazing out there," she said. Her voice was steady, but I caught the shine in her eyes. I shrugged, tried to play it cool. "Yeah, thanks," she tilted her head. "Something's different tonight. You look lighter." If she only knew. We drove home with the radio low, the world outside passing in streaks of orange streetlight. I stared at my reflection in the window, sweat still drying on my forehead. My hands rested on my backpack, like a vault. Inside were the things no one else had seen. The house smelled faintly like coffee and takeout. I dumped my bag by the door. Mom disappeared to shower, humming. I stood in the kitchen alone, the buzz of the refrigerator the only sound. I opened my phone and scrolled. Messages were already coming in, teammates, classmates, even kids I didn't really talk to. Some were cheering me on. A few were sending screenshots of Tyler's missed shots, jokes piling up. My thumb hovered over the folder where I kept everything, the receipts, the proof that tonight wasn't luck. My chest tightened, but it wasn't fear. It was something sharper. Because even with the win, even with my mom's smile and the messages lighting up my screen, I knew this wasn't done. Not yet. There's one more thing I need to do, and it's not for the team, it's for me. The gym smelled like waxed floors and something burnt from the snack bar, but mostly it smelled like endings. The season was over, and everyone buzzed like they were free now. I wasn't. My heart was steady, too steady, like the moment before a jump shot leaves your hands. We were lining up for the team photo, the big finale, coach in the middle, the guys squeezed tight, the banner draped behind us. Tyler was cracking jokes like nothing had happened, his laugh too loud, the kind that tried to drown out whispers. My name was called once, sharp, like a whistle, but I didn't move. Instead, I stood a few feet back, my ball tucked under my arm. The light hit my jersey, and for once, I noticed it, Parker, clear, unshared, mine. "Alex, let's go," coach said, voice clipped. He avoided my eyes like the ball might burn him. I didn't move. "I'm good here," some of the guys snickered. Someone said, "Dude, what are you doing?" But no one stepped closer. The photographer hesitated. You want to get in or?" I shook my head. My voice didn't crack, it didn't need to. "I'll pass." Silence for half a beat. Then someone muttered, "Whatever, man." The shutter clicked anyway, the team locking themselves in a picture I didn't belong to, and didn't want to. I turned, slow enough to feel their stares but calm enough to make it sting. Every step toward the gym door was heavier than it looked. But my back was straight, the ball warm against my side like a secret I'd kept too long. By the time I hit the parking lot, the sun was low, slicing through the chain-link fence. My mom was there again, leaning on the car, still in her scrubs. She waved, her face lit up like she already heard something. "How was it?" she asked, but I could tell she knew. "Fine," I said, then smiled, "Real, this time." At home, I dropped my bag in my room and scrolled through my phone. It was already blowing up. A friend from the stands had posted a photo, me, standing alone in the corner of the court, ball under my arm, the team blurred behind me. The caption just said, "Sometimes silence is the loudest thing you can do." The likes were climbing. The comments were quiet at first, then sharper, "Respect. This hits. Coach messed up big time." I stared at my name stitched across the back of my jersey lying on the bed. Everything I wanted to say was already there. "They took my spot, but they could never take my name."